Hey, stay cool, Zed. The word of the week is ETERPs. Sorry, Sprite. A sprite is a collection of points that move about on the screen as if they were all joined together, like on Zool or Mario or Sonic. Here's a cheat that Zed might be interested in. It's for Agony on the Amiga. When the title screen appears and the music is playing, type in the word fantasy in big capital letters. Then, when you start the game, you can press the F1 key and you get the big sword. The F3 key, you get an extra 20,000 points, and the F4 key gives you an extra life. Oh, and by the way, you can press these keys as many times as you like. Got that, Zed?
It's Z right, not Z, contrary to what certain sad people might think. Now it's time for this week's news and previews. A long time ago on a planet far, far away, Star Wars was a hit on the NES. Now here's a mega preview of Super Star Wars for the SNES. It features every scene from the movie culminating in a grand effort to destroy the Death Star. It's destined to be even bigger and hotter than Street Fighter II was this year as it pushes the SNES to its technical limits and is due out next spring.
Don't forget the Future Show, which starts today at Earl's Court. All the new games will be there. Bad Influence will be hosting the first ever National Games Championships, and we'll see you live there on Sunday. Two exciting new games for the Lynx are in the pipeline. The first is Dirty Larry. He's a mean cop who doesn't go by the book when it comes to cleaning up the streets. A big game, it's got around 80 levels and one of the best intro sequences I've ever seen on a handheld.
Then there's Dracula, not for the faint-hearted. The blood-sucking vampire wreaks havoc as you try to escape from his castle.
Last week we ran a competition to win this SNES and Super Scope action pack along with the Bad Influence t-shirt. The question was very simple. The names of our Humanasaur characters, that's what we wanted to know. If you put Brad and Dina on your entry form, you're halfway there. We'll have a rummage because all the correct entries are in here. Pull one out. This bit of paper, Brad and Dina, that's correct. Janine Robinson, age 12, Bostock Walk, Chawton on Medlock, Manchester. Well done, you're a winner.
This week we're giving away 4 quick-shot supervisions and loads of games. And the question is, what's the name of the 2 droids in Star Wars? Again, not Andy and Violet. Answers please on a postcard or sealed down on envelope marked competition to reach us by next Monday.
And we've had lots of letters already saying how much you enjoy the programme, for which we thank you, and also sending us your artwork as requested. Ian Hall from Hackney, London EH, you're now a famous nationally known artist with that work. Thank you very much indeed. Same applies to Rebecca Law, who is 8 and lives in Seymour Gardens, Middlesex. Now you're well known as well. A fine peregrine falcon. And also we had animations on discs, most of which were too gruesome to show on telly, but we snuck some of them on the data blast at the end of the show. However, this one we can show from Matthew Haslam, age 13 from Rochdale. Thank you for sending all that work in. If you saw it on the telly, you will receive a Bad Influence t-shirt in return.
Now for some more game reviews. Super Hunchback for the Game Boy finds our hero in an enchanted forest. Here's John Pierre.
This isn't usually the kind of game I'd go for. I'd go for a sim, a beat 'em up or something like that. But now that I've had a chance to play it, I think I'm hooked. This bit's great, it's a waterfall. You jump into it when one appears, and you get lots of extra bonus points by collecting the fruit. It's not easy, though. You have to bounce along these platforms, and if you get to the end, you get an extra life. You'll have noticed there's no firepower. You just end up avoiding all of your enemies. I'm really impressed with this little character. He can move in different ways, and you can even make him swim, as well as jump and run. It's certainly not a boring game, that's for sure, and I think the sound's great for a Game Boy. This bit's great. If you don't do anything, he starts to play with his yo-yo, read a book, or whistle. It's these sort of details that make it really good. I'd definitely buy it. Great value for money.
I like this game. It's really funny when he gets hit and there's stars around his head, but I prefer games with weapons. The graphics are good. I'd definitely buy it, and it's very playable.
This is a really good game for the Game Boy. I think I'd buy this one. It's really good fun and it builds easily.
And the scores for Super Hunchback, the boys gave it 4 out of 5, and the girls agreed, they gave it 4 out of 5.
Assassin is an arcade game for the Amiga. You get to be a hunky hitman who is dropped deep behind enemy lines with orders to kill the evil Maiden, whoever he is. Here's Kathleen.
I like this sort of thing. It's a pretty violent game. And these are the dogs that tried to get you, so you've got to waggle the joystick like this. You can get brilliant weapons. This is a smart bomb. This is level 4. I love this one. You're in a genetic asylum, and there's all sorts of evil beasts to kill. The sound effects are excellent. You can hear tortured people screaming in the background. This is a mad doctor. I love this game. It's really playable, and I'd probably buy it, and I'd certainly put it down on my Christmas present list.
This game looks good, but it's really violent. I like the way the hero moves through it.
I think the graphics are excellent, but it's not that playable. It's really hard to get anywhere. I prefer games with a better difficulty curve.
This game's got a difficulty worked out all wrong. You die too many times when you start playing it, so you get bored of it. I would have marked it higher if it had held my interest at the beginning, but it didn't, so I haven't.
And the scores for Assassin, the boys gave it 3 out of 5, but the girls gave it 4 out of 5.
The Bad Influence studio is full of every kind of console and computer there is. But have you ever wondered what's inside those little plastic boxes?
Can I do it now, Violet?
Yes, now, Andy!
Right, yeah! Don't do that at home, I've heard it invalidates the guarantee. So, what's inside the plastic boxes? Well, you won't be surprised to learn that it's lots and lots of computer chips. I'll give you a quick guided tour of the Mega Drive. This one here is the one that actually runs your game. Over here, we've got the sound department, and this little square one here is really clever. This is your sophisticated graphics chip. This is the one that provides graphics the like of which you see in, say, Legend of Galahad. Now look at this. In the background is moving so smoothly because the graphics chip is concentrating on the background, leaving the main games chip to concentrate on running your game. That's how these things work. This is the inside of a SNES. I mean, most of these systems look much the same inside. That one there is the graphics chip in a SNES, and it's that little chip that makes games like F-Zero have that rather unique arcade quality about them.
And this is what the inside of a cart looks like. You can have up to 4 chips. This one stores the game program, these two with the memory, and that's the battery that powers the memory when the machine's turned off. But this is the really interesting one. Only the manufacturers really know how it works, but it matches up with a similar chip inside the machine, and without it, the game just won't run.
Now, the manufacturers put these protection chips, as they call them, inside their cartridges to prevent other software companies from knocking up games, running them on your systems, and not paying them a royalty. But there is a way around it. This is called a plug-through. Now, what a plug-through essentially is a game in here, but without the protection chip. So to run it on your system, where does the protection chip come from? One of your normal games. Plug it in thus, and the plug-through is wired to cut out the game from this cartridge, but wired to accept the protection chip. So when you plug the whole of this into your system, the game runs. Plug-through games will cost you about £10 less than normal ones because there's no protection chip.
But beware, they're not approved by the console manufacturers. So if you use one and it damages your machine, it's not covered by the guarantee.
Nor is it if you hit it with a mallet, by the way.
Ah, thanks very much for the cheap book, Tom Simmons from Glassbury. Of course, I knew them all already. Next time, send them in to someone like Andy or Violet. When I play Street Fighter 2, obviously, I always win. But I can't work out whether it's because my character is stronger than the other or not. This is a cheat that allows you to play one character against himself. When the game is loading, press in, down, right, up, left, Y, B, X, and then when the sound goes down, hit the A button. You can now choose Ken as player 1 and as player 2. So, if you've got any friends, you should have an even match.
Well, that's about it for this week, but don't forget to video the date of last, which starts in a few seconds.
Join us next week when, amongst other things, we'll be reviewing an excellent new film about a group of computer high-tech security experts. It's called Sneakers. See ya.
Bye.
Bingo.
We're up.
Preparing to sever master circuit.
Sure you know which one to cut?
Yes. The alarm's always the green one.